Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another PrestaShop project live update. This time, July's edition, the last one before the summer break, and we will be back in September or November for another session. My name is Christian Podemski. I'm tech evangelist for the PrestaShop project, and today I'm joined by two members of the payment squad. And it's a good reason for those members of the payment squad to be there. So Mathieu and Sebastien will have something very exciting for you to hear about. So without further ado, let's see what we've prepared for you for today's live update. I will start with presentation of some of the project news, and believe me, we have quite a bunch of news to share with you today. Some very interesting ones, so stay tuned to hear about them more. And then we have a presentation from Mathieu and Seb. And this one you don't want to miss. It's about the upcoming version 9.1 of PrestaShop. And one of the features that is planned to be included in this version, one-page checkout. I know this is a hot subject in our community. We've been asked for it for many years. And finally, it's there. The work has started on the one-page checkout. So we will hear directly from Mathieu and Seb about this feature that is coming to PrestaShop 9.1. At the end of the presentation, live update, we will have a Q&A session. First, we will start from the questions that have been sent to us before the event, because we have every time we announce the live update, there's a link to the form where you can ask questions, and we do have a bunch of questions using this form. And of course, if you have any questions about the PrestaShop project, about what you have seen during this live update, or about the project in general, feel free to ask them using chat on YouTube. We'll take on them during the Q&A session. So let's get straight into the news. The first news is no surprise, I think. It's about PrestaShop 9. We did not have live update after the release of PrestaShop 9. So just a reminder, the new major version is here. We are very excited that it finally happened. And I wanted to thank you for the community for a really warm welcome of PrestaShop 9. We can see really, really good feedback about this new version. So it's really a great modern foundation to build on top. And we'll share with you some of the resources that we created that can be both useful to you to better understand what's inside PrestaShop 9 if you hadn't had time to test it yet, or for your customers to better explain what's inside PrestaShop 9, because we've been also hearing a feedback that some of the landing pages that we create are also useful for you when you talk to the clients. So can you hear me now? Okay, so something has happened after I changed the stage on StreamYard. Let me try again. Okay, it should be good now, I think. Okay, sorry for that. So yeah, I wanted to show you the landing page that we've created for PrestaShop 9, and I prepared a new stage in StreamYard, but apparently I need to add myself to the stage so you can hear me. So let's start from scratch. So sorry, sorry for the demo effect. Fortunately, solved really quickly. Thanks for the comments. So this is the technical overview / landing page for PrestaShop 9 that we've created. And we've been getting some good feedback on the previous versions of this landing page, for example, for PrestaShop 8.1, like this one. with an old branding. So let's switch quickly to V9. So this is the landing page that could be useful for both for you, for developers, for more technical community when you want to better understand what's inside PrestaShop 9 without testing it or before testing it. And it's also useful for the situation where you discuss with the clients to see what's inside of the new version. So, of course, we mentioned Symfony 6.4. Of course, we mentioned the brand new admin API, Hummingbird, and a lot of other new features. We mentioned what has changed under the hood when it comes to some technicalities of PrestaShop, for example, PHP support, Symfony update, admin API, of course. We take a closer look at admin API. We take a closer look at Hummingbird, and so on and so forth. So this landing page is a great base for you to showcase PrestaShop 9 to some people who haven't had time to test the PrestaShop 9 just yet, and to better understand what's inside this new version. It's more technical, but it also incorporates some of the product features, some of the merchant-oriented features, like, for example, improvements in the SEO area, or, for example, mention of some of the new additions like update assistant, which is, of course, available for PrestaShop 9 as well, and PrestaShop 8 as well, sorry, but it greatly helps to migrate from PrestaShop 8 to PrestaShop 9. So I will be sharing the slides after the presentation to all of you during inside the article that we will publish later today or tomorrow's morning to summarize this live update. All the links that I'm mentioning today, all the links that are included in the slides will be made available to you tomorrow or today or tomorrow's morning. So don't worry if you don't have the link right now. Another piece of content that we've created is, of course, the resource notes for PrestaShop 9, which you can also use to better understand what's inside PrestaShop 9, as well as one of the most important pages that I wanted to share with you, especially if you work with PrestaShop as a module developer, as a service provider, if you integrate with PrestaShop and so on. This page is particularly important for those who want to understand what has changed under the hood. So what are the methods that we've removed as part of the gardening in the project and cleaning the code base? What has changed under the hood when it comes to behavior of some of the methods? What are the pages that we've migrated from the legacy architecture to the Symfony architecture, and so on? This is something that we continuously improve. So if you have any feedback on it, let us know. The best way to give us a feedback on the documentation is by creating an issue directly on the docs repository in PrestaShop organization. So back to the slides. What are the next steps for PrestaShop 9? So we've received quite a good feedback and and numerous reports of some of the issues and improvements to be made on PrestaShop 9. So we are working on the first patch for version 9.0, and we aim to release it somewhere in this quarter, Q3. As I mentioned, we continuously improve the developer documentation, and this is something that we will be doing probably for entire life cycle of PrestaShop 9. It's a non-stop project. What I'm going to do also to help service providers and module developers to deal with some of the breaking changes in PrestaShop 9 is that I will create a migration guide on how to deal with some of the real-life scenarios where you have to support both PrestaShop 8 and PrestaShop 9, or even PrestaShop 1.7 up to PrestaShop 9. So this article should be live in Q3 as well. And for those who want to start with PrestaShop 9 as soon as possible, remember that you don't have to wait for the bug fixes or for the patch versions to be available as a new release. You can cherry pick already validated fixes by going directly to GitHub repository. Of course, this is something that should be done only by experienced users. For those who are not that technical, not that experienced, it's better to wait for the official patch version to be released. And we can continue with another news, which is about PrestaShop 8 this time. As part of the maintenance of PrestaShop 8, it's been decided to provide the community with the second patch for PrestaShop 8.2. You can find release notes of PrestaShop 8.2 on the build blog, the same as for every other version of PrestaShop that we release. What I would like to emphasize on is that this version includes a lot of hooks that have been added by community and PrestaShop as well for the call for contributions hooks. So this is the first version since we announced the call for contributions regarding hooks. So this version has all the hooks that were contributed against the branch 8.2x. It also incorporates quite a lot of bug fixes and improvements from the community. So I would say that this is really a community-driven patch version. There's a lot of work that have been put by the community and also by PrestaShop company to then release the version, to test the version by quality assurance team and so on. So thanks to the joint effort, we have yet another patch version for version 8. But since we've already released PrestaShop 9, it means that PrestaShop 8 is now in extended support phase. What it means is that from now on, we will focus exclusively on PrestaShop 9, the next patch versions for this version, on the next minor version for PrestaShop, meaning 9.1. And we will only release patch versions for PrestaShop 8 when there's a critical bug or security fix to be made. But this is not set in stone. If we decide otherwise, if there are good reasons to release, for example, 8.2.3 with some of the super improvements or yet another call for contributions that will be announced, for example, that can happen. But for the moment, the focus is PrestaShop 9, sorry, and PrestaShop 8 is now in the extended support phase. Another news I wanted to mention is that we've started working on Hummingbird 2. This might sound surprising, but with the release of PrestaShop 9 and Hummingbird being as an optional included theme in this version, we've already received some of the feedbacks about potential improvements to be made on this theme. So in order to, first of all, improve the theme, so Hummingbird could be the default theme in PrestaShop 9.1, in order to improve performance and SEO, in order to make Hummingbird compatible with EAA, which is a new regulation to make websites in e-commerce more accessible for people with disabilities. And to improve both user experience and developer experience, we are working on Hummingbird on the second version, on the version 2 of Hummingbird theme. This new version will be is planned to release alongside PrestaShop 9.1, possibly later this year. If you want to see the progress of Hummingbird, you can see, of course, GitHub repository to see all the changes that are already part of the Hummingbird. Okay, so this is all regarding Hummingbird. If you have any questions regarding Hummingbird, it's also a good idea to go straight directly to the Hummingbird repository and ask the questions there, or to contact us to send us a message using PrestaShop Project Slack. Another news is a big one, is about yet another edition of PrestaShop Developer Conference, something that already happened twice in 2023 and 2024. It's a very successful event, so we want to continue on that. So there's another edition coming this year in November to Paris, again, 19th of November, this time hybrid format, meaning both offline and online, which means that all the sessions will be on-site, but will be streamed online. And as as for every year, we ask you to share your expertise during the conference if you want, and we call for presentations. So if you want to share your knowledge with your peers during the developer conference in Paris, it's a great time to submit your presentations proposals. You can do that by going to the article on the build blog and filling out the form that we've created. We will be selecting the presentation somewhere in September. The deadline for the presentations has been set to September 5th, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I'm sure many of you from the community will be part of this conference. I remember that we've had really interesting presentations from community members, from Jonathan, from PrestaEdit, from Invertus, a popular agency from Lithuania, and many other members of our community who submitted very interesting talks and then presented them in Paris during the developer conference. So I'm sure this another edition will be as successful as previous editions. So I'm looking forward to seeing your ideas for the presentation. Once again, the article announcing call for presentation is already on the build blog, and this presentation and the links will be shared later today in the live update summary. And now let's jump into another news, this time to have a bit of the summary of the initiative that we started a few months ago, which is call for contributions. And as a reminder, the first call for contributions was created to make the process of contributing to PrestaShop more quicker, more I would say friendly, by focusing on one specific area, which then aimed to speed up the reviews, ease up the process of validating PRs and so on. And the first focus area for the call for contributions were hooks. And we decided to go with hooks because they are quite simple to implement technically and functionally. They greatly enhance PrestaShop customizability, and most importantly, they also allow us to reduce the need for overrides in the core. And another good reason for that was that new hooks that were contributed by the community could be released as part of the patch versions of PrestaShop, which of course version 8.2.2 is a great example for. And the summary is as follows. By the time that I've gathered the data, we've matched 14 contributions, and some of the contributions implemented more than one hook in one pull request in one contribution. In total, we are talking about 17 hooks to help you make PrestaShop more customizable, easier to customize, and to avoid overrides, as mentioned. And those 17 hooks were contributed by 9 companies and 2 solo contributors. So now on the screen, you can see both the companies and single and solo contributors who participated in this challenge of adding the new hook to the system. And on the right side, you see all the new hooks plus some of the improved hooks that were sent to us by community members. So thank you to everyone who participated in the call for contributions for hooks. This was a great success. We really get a bunch of really interesting hooks that will help us help developers in our ecosystem to work with cut rules easier, to avoid overrides, which a good example is, for instance, those 2 hooks that you can see, override image link and adapt image link. You don't have to override image class or link class to, for example, download to get images from some CDN servers. You can use hooks for that from now on, from version 8.2. And one thing that I didn't mention is that even though some of the hooks were released with PrestaShop 8.2.2, they're of course part of the PrestaShop 9 as well, because we we continuously match changes from older branches to the new branches, starting from branch 8 to X. So thank you for participating to all the companies and solo contributors. And well, considering that it was a great success, it's not surprised that we will start with yet another call for contributions. So I'm very happy to announce that we are starting with call for contributions with the goal to gather contributions regarding admin API that was added to PrestaShop 9. So this will be the focus on the call for contributions. So as a reminder, the new admin API is something that was introduced in PrestaShop 9. It's the project that lays foundation to step from the legacy web services and to replace it with much more modern foundation to integrate to PrestaShop. It uses API platform, which is a popular library, especially in the Symfony ecosystem, and in PHP ecosystem in general, I would say. It's very powerful. It's very extensible, customizable. It's really easy to use. It's something that is really a great foundation for having a powerful API in the system. So this is why now is the time to work together with you, with the community, to make sure that we have as much endpoints, as much resources implemented as possible, meaning that we can do basically the idea is to cover all the actions that we have in admin in the back office, that for the actions to be possible to interact with through the API. So if we are talking about, for example, adding products, getting categories, enabling categories, adding new categories, updating categories, all the create, read, update, and delete actions that we have in the back office, the general idea is to cover all those actions through the back office / admin API. We do have some of the endpoints ready, but there's quite a lot of work on the remaining ones, and we thought that it will be a great idea to ask you, the community, to help us to get this coverage of those actions that are available in the back office to some higher levels through your contributions. So later this week, we will be sharing an official announcement on the build blog. This will be an article stating why we've decided to go this way, how to contribute, what are the resources that we provide, and what's the general idea for this call for contribution. This time, we are not focusing on number of contributions. We want to focus on admin API for a few months. I think that ideally it will be the time up until we will be releasing PrestaShop 9.1. But one important thing is that thanks to the fact that we have all the endpoints available in a separate module, they are not integrated directly in the core. We will be able to make those new endpoints that you will contribute to the module, to the PrestaShop, available to everyone using PrestaShop 9 very soon, very quickly. So this is a great chance for you to contribute something that will be instantly available to all the people using PrestaShop 9. So I'm sure this is an interesting perspective. As a reminder, I will be sharing this presentation with all of you later today. I will be sharing all the links and the official announcement with the article for the admin API and call for contributions for it will be published later this week. And now, it's enough me talking. This is the time that probably most of you were waiting for. This is about one-page checkout. So let me invite to the stage Matthew and Sebastian, who will be presenting one-page checkout. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
One technical question: Do you have a way to change the slide, or maybe you should?
I don't think we can change the slide. Can we just say like next, and you will?
Okay, okay, that works for me.
Okay,
Okay,
so I'm going to start, and Sebastian will continue. Maybe just before we start, a little word about us. Sebastian and I were working in the payment squad of PrestaShop. The main thing we are building is a PrestaShop checkout module connected to the PrestaShop checkout API that we have maybe used. So we have a good experience with payment modules from PrestaShop. But today we are not going to talk about PrestaShop checkout. We are going to focus on a contribution to the core that we want to make, which is one-page checkout. Next, please. So I think I don't need to tell you much about one-page checkout. The name is very clear, and I think you've seen before on some e-commerce website what is it. The idea is to bring together in a single page all steps of the checkout. And actually, if we assess the current checkout of PrestaShop 9, it's not so much different. Basically, what we have is that we have a single page, but you have multiple steps, and between each steps, you have to refresh the page. So it's not really a multiple pages checkout. It's a single page being refreshed multiple times, but there's definitely multiple steps, so people need to click, and this is what we want to break. We want people to be able to fill every information in the checkout, maybe also autofill some of them for him or her, so that it's quicker, it's easier, and basically it converts better. And which brings me to the why. Why do we want to do this? I think we have a consensus, but usually one-page checkouts have been demonstrated to bring more conversion, to be quicker, to reduce friction, to have less abandoned carts. I don't think we need to demonstrate it. That is quite common now. So the why is kind of obvious. Next, please. So this is a topic we want to bring to the core. How are we going to do it? We're going to do it by contributing on GitHub of the PrestaShop project, just like any contributor, and we're going to contribute into the develop branch, which is now set to give birth to PrestaShop 9.1 in a few months. So hopefully we will be done by this time. And so we are not going to replace the current checkout. We want to have the two together. First, because some people could actually prefer the previous checkout. So we want to give the merchant the choice to choose between multiple steps checkout or the single page, single step checkout. But also, we are aware that the checkout of PrestaShop is actually a piece of the software that depend heavily on the payment modules and the career modules that you have installed on the shop. So this is like a cross between multiple roads. In order for your checkout to work properly, you need to have selected and configured the right payment modules, the right career modules. There can be also other modules involved. And when we're going to convert, to transform this checkout into a single page checkout, this is going to impact modules. So Sebastian is going to give you a little more details about this, but we are aware that at the beginning, it will be important to have the two next to each other because we will not be able to switch to web-page checkout in a single time. It's going to take time. It will need to be adapted. It will be need to how to say to grow and get adopted by multiple users and modules before you can use widely. Also, Sebastian is going to give you a little bit more details, but we are not 100% sure right now of how we're going to achieve this. We know what we want to build, but some challenges, specifically the connection between the checkout and modules, we have some ideas how to do it. We're going to try them, we're going to experiment them, but we don't know everything right now. So there might be some experimentation, and obviously we will be able to see everything on GitHub while it's being built. And now I let Sebastian tell you more about the code on the next slide.
Hello everyone. Yes. So then Mathieu said we don't have no refreshing page on OPC. So we have create some new GS event. It's allow to module to react on every change on the page. We also delete the mandatory of first name and last name. So now first name and last name will be optional for the guest checkout. It's to simplify the guest way and simplify the path. Also, we know some module compatibility need to be updated, like a payment module, a carrier module. For the first reason, Mathieu already said, we change the way we call the carrier list, the payment list. So it will be obviously change how you can create your GS or your map or everything on your payment module. So you will need to listen some event and we will create a documentation about that. For the rest, like Matthew said, we need more time and we will say everything on GitHub.
And also, I think we could mention we're going to rely heavily on Ajax request because the idea is not to fully refresh the page during the web page checkout. And some items, especially the payment part, you can only properly display them when you have like the address filled up, or you have some items before. Like when you need to pay, you need to know the exact card contents. So there will be some Ajax request involved, and this is probably going to impact carrier modules, for example. Yes.
Yes.
So that's it for now. This is the overview for now. We're going to continue building, and I guess when we've made progress and we're getting close to the end of this project, maybe we could come back for another live update where we could say exactly the technical changes that were done, why, and how to adapt modules for this.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Hopefully, this will be maybe a Christmas gift for the community to have a OPC ready. Fingers crossed. So, yeah, this was just a glimpse of what the future holds. Of course, there's not that much information that have been shared, but we wanted to share it anyway because we feel like it's a very exciting moment for PrestaShop ecosystem to finally have a natively available one-page checkout inside the core. So thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Sebastian, and I'm hoping to see you soon with some progress on the project.
Thank you so much.
All right, and now we can smoothly transition to the Q&A session. I see some of the questions on the chat already, but as I mentioned, we also received some of the questions before the event using the form that we share with the live update announcement. So let me share with you the questions that we received. So the first one is from Thomas T. The new V9 includes an amazing new API. Thank you from the team. But everything is linked to an internal authentication server. How can I use Keycloak or Auxilia as an external authentication server? It's been blocked since the scopes were set up, so it's a bit shaky. The general idea was to make it as much customizable as possible, so you can use an external server. By default, if I recall correctly, you can use Keycloak, and we also have an example in the developer documentation and a demo module for Keycloak. It both includes scopes and Docker configuration, so it's a great example for you to base on. And as always, if you are hitting some issues with scopes or integration of this external server, feel free to open an issue so we can improve the docs or bug fix the module if required, although it has been tested So it should be good. And hopefully that answer your question. Another question is from Bernard V. What is the level of legal compliance concerning the project's source code? More and more German companies, very legal-minded, we know that about Germans, are asking us for audit reports on the open source project and its classic version. The same question also applies to RGPD slash GDPR for English-speaking people. So let me assure you that we take legal compliance seriously at PrestaShop, especially around licensing and GDPR. And while there's no official audit report, the code is open. The code is constantly maintained and widely reviewed by all the users using PrestaShop. But I would like to emphasize that for some strict legal rules, it's better to recommend that doing your own audit or working with some trusted third party that can do such audit for you, because we cannot be we cannot be responsible for everything that is on your store, especially since you probably use some third party modules and so on. Another question from the community, this time from Marcus. Hello, we've been hearing about a stable v9 for several days now, but as soon as we get into the back office, we see more than 1,000 deprecation messages. We search, we realize that half of the dependencies are up to date. How can you call that stable? I would have called it a beta. Okay, fair enough, fair feedback, but we called PrestaShop stable in terms of features and testing, and basically we've decided to release it because it passes all the validation processes that we have currently at PrestaShop. We know there are still some deprecations and outdated dependencies. I'm sure that we will consider prioritizing some of the updates, some of the cleanups in future patch releases. But eventually it's an open source project, so contributions are welcomed. So if you want to help us clean up the code base from outdated dependencies, feel free to reach out to submit a pull request. It can be joint effort as well. And I think the last question is from FOP member. I guess it's Friends of Presta member. There are over 200 contributions in the PrestaShop repository, but since the editor only reviews its own PRs, are there any plans to work on contributors' PRs? So at the moment, as also shown during this live update, we are focusing on reviewing and on the effort of reviewing on specific areas on the core. We started with hooks, now we go towards admin API, and that's what PrestaShop company obligation at the moment. We are obligated, how to say this, we want to review those PRs that are part of some focus areas that were shared with you, with the community. Also, and what's important, I think, is that those focus areas were also consulted with the community, for example, during the Friends of Presta days. So for other parts of the core, for other pull requests, we would really use your help. Remember that the project is open as never before. You can apply to the committer role to help us with reviewing the pull requests, with triaging issues, and all the gardening that we have to do in the PrestaShop project. So if you have experience in PrestaShop, if you have strong technical background, if you think you are able to help us with the reviews, feel free to apply to the committer role. This will, of course, help us get this backlog of pull requests that wait for the review clean easier and quicker. So this would be my answer to this question. So let's now go back to the first Q&A slide, and I will see if there are some questions regarding what you've seen and you've heard today. Alexis is asking, is this the final version of Hummingbird? So I wouldn't say there's a final version of anything in the core, because we can always improve, you can always fix something. But PrestaShop 9 has Hummingbird v1 inside. It's an optional theme, and the goal for Hummingbird 2 is to become the default theme in PrestaShop 9.1. That's the goal. Frank is asking if I could share the links. As explained before, I don't want to share the links during while I'm talking, because first of all, it's a bit complicated to do. And secondly, I don't want you to jump into the article while I'm talking. It's better to focus on the presentation, and I will share all the links after the presentation. So don't worry, I will share all the links that have been mentioned during this live update. What about next versions? It's again about Hummingbird, I guess. So version 2 is planned to be released alongside PrestaShop 9.1. That's the I would say deadline for Hummingbird in version 2. Each one-page checkout will be available as an experimental feature. I would say yes, that's the plan, but maybe I could ask Matthew back on stage to answer this one.
Yes, kind of, actually. So yeah, in the beginning, we considered using a feature flag to make it available. However, the idea behind feature flag is that they are temporarily. So first, a new feature is experimental, and then it's committed. And we want to allow merchants to be able to choose between the two checkouts in the long term. So there will be a mechanism similar to a feature flag, a toggle on and off to choose between the two. But we're thinking about making it a permanent option in the back office where you can choose between the two. So it's going to start as an experimental feature and stay there together with the previous checkouts, unless, and this, to be honest, we haven't thought about it, unless maybe one day we simply remove the previous checkouts because everybody loves the one-page checkout.
Yeah. I could argue with this, but I think having a choice is wise. Is a good option. So thank you for this answer. Hopefully this will answer Jeff's question.
I hope so.
So going further, we have a question, a long one from Thomas. Hello, I have a question about the project. PrestaShop 9 is not usable if you use Nginx. With a maintainer, we have made 10, 15 PRs modules to fix the problem as quickly as possible. I know that this bug can be fixed in the core for version 9.01, but what I don't understand is why our PRs are not meshed or why there is no new module version. I can make the PRs for an upgrade, but if they are not validated, what do we do? Whether it's for the open source project or for PrestaShop SA, delivering a solution that doesn't work on Nginx is not good. All right, so I wasn't aware that PrestaShop 9 is not working with Nginx, and as far as I know, we don't have automatic test suites on Nginx, only on Apache. So maybe this opens up a possibility, a chance for us to think about adding Nginx to the test suites as well. Maybe not to the regular ones, but to nightlies or to at some point of the release cycle. When it comes to the PRs and modules, I feel like I answered this in the previous question, in the previous questions that we've had during the Q&A session. We cannot be everywhere. There is a limited number of people working at PrestaShop, but we do have some committers that are willing to help. I'm sure there's Daniel somewhere who is reviewing PRs, who is submitting PRs, so he also can release the module. We also have some other committers that could be helpful. So I will definitely pass this information to Ilyes and other people in charge for the prioritization of certain subjects at PrestaShop. But as I said, for now, due to the reality we live in, we rather focus on some certain areas of the choice that we've made with you, with the community. So, for example, hooks, admin API, Accessibility Act, and so on. So I will definitely get back to you on this subject as well, Thomas. Thank you for your pull requests, and thank you for raising these concerns about Nginx and your vigilance to test it on this architecture as well. There is a comment from Daniel: you take it seriously, but absolutely random tax calculation, zero reverse charge. I will repeat myself, but there are thousands of PrestaShop stores that live from day to day, and they do the job and they don't complain about it. I don't know what else can I say. I don't see any more questions as well. As long as, let me check it again if we have any more questions. Okay, I see the discussion about Nginx URLs. As much as I'm aware of Nginx, there was a rule to redirect backoffice routes there properly, and there was one rule required by the backoffice for Nginx to work correctly. So it doesn't seem to be Nginx specific problem, I would say. It's probably something that comes from some changes during the migration from legacy architecture to Symfony. But as with every problem, it will have to be investigated to better understand the impact and the problem that is behind your report. Okay, I don't see any more questions. So thank you for joining me today, and Matthew and Sebastian during today's live update. As you could hear, we have some really exciting ongoing projects like one-page checkout, like call for contributions, admin API, and I will see you with some other news, some other presentations in September during yet another live update. We will have a summer break during August, and we will be back with September with yet another portion of news from the PrestaShop project. Thank you for joining me and Payment Squad today, and see you in September. Bye.